Hey everyone, it's Sami from Sami's Sweet Life, and this is just a quick story of my life. I'm gonna have to film this a little bit later. This is going to be Stella's 5-month update. She is already 6 months, so this first story time thing is more like a 6-month issue, and I will try to get that 6-month video filmed for you guys next week. I am in the new setup, the new house, scrapbook room, and I'm trying out this setup, so we'll see how it goes. Let me know what you guys think of the sound and also the brightness, the video, all that stuff. It looks pretty good on my screen. So Stella has been really consistently taking like 1.5 to 2 hour naps twice a day. That's been her schedule probably since about 5 months. And today she graced me with like a 40-minute nap. So she is currently screaming right now. I'm gonna have to try to see if I can settle her down to squeeze in a little bit longer time, but that'll be me nursing her, like me holding her and nursing her. She will not probably go down actually in her crib again. I got all this stuff set up. I did a worksheet with Olivia, got my makeup on, came in here to film, and she started screaming while I was getting everything set up. So, story of my life. I've been trying to film this now for 2 days. Johnny helped me get my 2 camera setup going. I hung the shelf up like I did in my last scrapbook room when we owned a house. I hung up that same shelf and I have it mounted and clipped. I'll talk about all that in a moving vlog coming up, but I really wanted to get this 5-month update filmed for you guys. Our house is brand new and it's one of the houses that's already built on our street. Most of them are not all the way built, so you will hear construction noise throughout my videos if I do sit down videos, because that's just my life right now. There's no planning around that. Basically all day long they're working, so we'll hear construction noise all day. But yeah, this is gonna be my scrapbook room, my camera setup. We set up this 2 nights ago, and that was a night Olivia got sick during the night, so none of us got really good sleep, so we were all zombies yesterday. Thankfully it was just a really quick thing, just one night event, and she was totally fine last night, and we all really got some good sleep, and so I was raring to go. And then of course she's not sleeping very well, so that could be interesting. It is nap time number 2. Hopefully I can get this video filmed for you guys. She was fine, she just had a really short nap, so I don't know what's going on with her. I'm pulling out my list here on my phone. I have a list for her 5-month and her 6-month, so we will just start going down the list. So as far as postpartum things for me, I feel pretty much back to normal, except where my incision site is. It's basically from like my belly button all the way down to my crotch area. It's just tender and numb and dead feeling. And it's like when your foot falls asleep, you get that like tingly numbness feeling, and it's really uncomfortable. So if like pants or fabric or even like my hand or anything touches against that area, it feels really, really uncomfortable. And it started getting way more tingly and more uncomfortable around the 5-month mark. It's like it's coming back to life. Those nerve endings have to reconnect as best that they can. I think with my first C-section, I got pretty much all my sensation and feeling back, and this time I think it's been a little bit of a slower process. They did go through the same scar tissue, the same incision site as with my first C-section, but the second time around I feel like the healing was a lot harder because it is healing scar tissue, and so it's just been a really weird process having that. So like Johnny will come up and hug me and touch that part of my stomach, and I kind of like wince because it just feels uncomfortable. It's not necessarily painful unless I'm like pressing too hard or something, but it's just super uncomfortable. Even like the lightest touch across that area feels really just uncomfortable and weird. It's just a very strange sensation to have in skin that you used to have. Like, this is an area I used to have normal feeling in, normal sensation in, and now all the things are just kind of haywire. And it's a big strip in my stomach, you know, my belly button all the way down is a big pooch area right now. That's where I have most of my saggy, stretched out skin, is that strip of skin. And so it's just a not comfortable area of my body, and I think over time it'll get smaller, as it has so far. It's gotten smaller, but I don't think it's ever going to be back to 100%. So it's just one of those weird parts in general of just having a C-section. Since about 5 to 6 months, I'm getting more feeling back, less of the tingly numbness, uncomfortable feelings, and more actual like feelings, like, oh, it feels like actual fingers are touching that versus just this weird crazy sensation anytime it's touched. So it's getting better. I feel like it'll continue to get better. I just don't know how much better it will get at this point. But yeah, the skin like really started coming alive between 4 and 5 months, and I was like, dang, this is super uncomfortable, super weird feeling, and I didn't like anything touching it. Another thing is my dandruff has just really ramped up the last few months, and I know this happened with Olivia too. I just don't know if it was during pregnancy, early postpartum, or a little bit later postpartum. My hair is getting brittle and it is falling out, and you guys can see the the sections. I got the same little balding sections. Basically like where men will traditionally bald is where I'm getting bald right now, and I'm sure it'll get worse. It seems like anytime I'm like touching my hair or moving my hair comes out and breaks. That's one of the really not pleasant things. It started really badly around the 5-month mark, and it's just getting progressively worse, and this is 6 months here. So I know it'll grow back over time and it'll be fine, but it's just kind of unnerving when like you're brushing your hair and it feels like tons of your hair is falling out. All right, so let's dive into the Stella portion of this video. That's basically all the postpartum part that I have. I've got notes for miles and miles, so it may end up being a long rambly video, but the first thing I have on here is she rolled from her back to her belly at 4 months and 5 days. So way later than Olivia. Olivia was rolling way earlier than this, and she was actually crawling around 6 months. So totally different ball game. And I know it probably has to do with they were born about 5 weeks apart. Olivia being born 5 weeks later than Stella. I think that has played a role in it. She ended up rolling back to belly, and I missed the first one. I set her down. She was kind of like practicing being on her side and things. I went to the bathroom real quick, came right back. She was on her belly. So she did it all by herself without anybody around. And then I caught the second one on camera. I'm pretty sure I've shown that. And then she just continued to do that over and over and over again. And she still will roll the same direction back to belly. And today she was like trying to roll the other way and couldn't quite get it. So I know she has rolled the other way, but she's just so used to rolling one particular way from her back to her belly that she just doesn't even think to try the other way. So I was sitting on the opposite side of her, and she was like most of the way all rolled over, and I was like, wow, I haven't seen you rolling that way a lot. She just has the other move down so well, and she does not realize yet that she can use her rolling to get where she wants to go. She has no idea. She just rolls one time at a time, or maybe 2 times at a time, and she just will not like roll to the other side of the mat or anything yet. So I'm waiting for her to connect that she can actually do that, because she can roll all of the directions now. She basically will like flip to her belly or flip to her back, whichever one she wants to be, and just sit there and play and not really use it for traveling around. So it's kind of funny. Olivia was totally different. Once Olivia got it down, she was like off to the other side of the room. That day when she figured out she could roll, that night it took her forever to fall asleep. And it took like, I don't know, probably a 2-week span of her flipping over and getting super angry and not flipping herself back. We're way past this now because she's 6 months, but it took her a really long time, like probably a good 2 weeks to get comfortable with sleeping on her belly or flipping herself back over. It felt like forever for me to have to go in, flip her back over, wait for her to get tired, and she would flip herself over a couple more times, and I'd have to go in, flip her over constantly. And it took a really long time for her to figure out she could sleep on her belly if she wanted to, or she could flip back over onto her back if she wanted to. All of her sleep is super hit and miss. Sometimes she goes straight down to sleep, no problems, and then sometimes she is screaming and hysterical for a while. I just never know, and I can't find a pattern, and I do the same things every time for sleep, so I don't really know what it's about. I think sometimes she just is ready to go to sleep, and sometimes she's really angry that I'm putting her to sleep. And it's like, I know she's clearly tired. I don't think she's overtired, and I think I had the same problem with Olivia. Like, most of the time Olivia was fine, and then sometimes she just fought everything, and there were these really difficult times, and right at that 4-month 5-day mark, she was fighting sleep because of the flipping over and things. And at that point, bedtime became really routine, really easy. She'd go straight to sleep until that point, and then it became really difficult again. She was having 2 consistent naps previous to this rolling experience, and then naps became harder as well. It took us a couple weeks to get through that, and now it's a lot better, but it's still, like I said, very hit and miss. Sometimes she cries and I have to go check on her 2 or 3 times, and sometimes she goes straight to sleep and I can't tell the difference. I don't know what the difference is. I'm trying to do the same things every time, like I said. So it's just one of those things that my kid is going to be a trickier sleeper. It depends on her mood. I don't know. At night, for the longest time now, she has been consistently just waking up 1 time at night, except for when she was sick. She had her first actual legit virus when she was 5 months old, and we took her to the doctor because she was tugging on her ears, and she had a 99.9 fever, and then they rang her up as 100.4, something like that, at the actual doctor. So it was her first actual virus. Olivia had caught something as well, so they just caught the same thing, and it was rough there. For a couple of nights, she woke up twice at night. She just was kind of grouchy, typical things that you expect. So that week, she didn't sleep that great. She woke up a couple of times at night, and then the week after that, she had 1 night with 2 wake-ups that week, and then The next week she had one night with 2 wake ups again. So almost every day she sleeps through with just 1 wake up, and then like once a week she has more difficult night where she needs an extra nursing session. I just roll with the flow, and I planned on sleep training her at 6 months, and you'll have to wait for the 6-month video for that update. She also learned to spit and also learned to fart with her mouth, and that's what Olivia calls it. She says she's farting with her mouth like a silly goose. So she learned to do that, just blow spitty bubbles and things. She also learned to shake toys. So she'd get the toy, and you guys have seen this in various vlogs, she would just shake them around, and it was so cute. Some toys were bigger than others, so she'd bonk herself. She never got upset about bonking herself though, thankfully, but I just was really worried that she was gonna hurt herself when she's flinging toys really hard. She also started kicking her legs rhythmically, like it's to the same pattern how she would kick her legs, and that was super cute as well. She's got these chunky little thighs, and they would just be bouncing all over the place. At some point, I don't know exactly when, she started really liking to be on her tummy. After that initial period of rolling over and not being comfortable with it, she started really liking being on her tummy. So I'd set her down on her back. She would immediately flip to her tummy and start playing. Most of the time, that's what she would do, and she still continues to do that. There for a while, she was really trying to stick her booty up in the air. So she's doing those pre-crawling motions, and it was super duper cute. She would just do the face slam into the mat, stick her booty up as high as she could get it. And it was so funny. She'd make little noises with it and stuff. She's really getting smoother movements, like she's reaching out for a toy instead of like jerking around. She would smoothly reach out for it a little bit better than she was. She could bring things to her mouth a lot better. She could shake toys. She could move her legs as she wanted them. She's really starting to get coordinated now, which is fun to watch, and it's fun for them too. They're not as frustrated with things. And so she's just had so much fun playing with toys now that she can flip onto her belly and get whatever toys and reach out and grab them. There was a point up to now, I have a note about breastfeeding being a drag. Part of it was she has a problem with dairy and she has a problem with beans. So those are 2 things I really like. I like cheese and I like beans, and especially together, I really like them. There's a car driving by. But she can't have either one of those. And so I really had a moment where I was cutting out all beans completely. Like if I had pinto beans especially, she would have really bad gassy trouble, and black beans also. She'd have some reactions with that. So I just completely cut out beans. I basically also had to cut out dairy as well. There for a while, I wasn't having any dairy at all. And so I've slowly incorporated a little bit of dairy back into my diet, and I haven't really noticed much, but she was a very happy spitty baby. And I noticed with both of those things, she would spit up a whole lot more. So we just cut both of those out. And at this point in time, at about the 5-month mark, I was like, man, this stinks. I really want beans. I really want cheese. And it seems like every time around my monthly cycle, I still want that cheese. I still want it every month. And I have been eating a little bit more here and there, but not like cheese dips, not like extra things, like a little bit of sprinkled cheese on top of something. Thankfully, her spitting seems to be a lot better. Around the 5-month mark, it stopped being all the time all over the place. It seemed like it was cutting back a little bit, and it has continued to improve since then. But yeah, I was having that moment of, man, this is a drag, having to watch what I eat with those 2 things. And I know a lot of people have to do way worse breastfeeding diets than that, but I was just having a little bit of a moment with that. And also I got sick with the same thing they all got. It's one of those nasty coughing things, and I wanted to take the nice cough medicine and knock myself out, and I couldn't do that because she wakes up during the night and she also breastfeeds, and I can't take that kind of medicine while I'm breastfeeding. So it's twofold. I can't wake up and function with that, and I also can't feed her because the medicine's in my body. So I was basically not taking anything where everybody else could take stuff and take care of themselves. I was like taking ibuprofen, and that's about it. So I was really struggling for like a week with that viral thing. And then after that, I just had to cough. So it's not a big deal. It's one of those lingering things where we coughed a bunch, but the worst part of it where you felt terrible and couldn't sleep, I couldn't really do much about it. So that part was a really bad drag, and I was like, man, I really want to give up breastfeeding just this 1 week so that I can function. But obviously I'm not going to give it up. I do love being able to feed my baby with my body, and I love that she gets the boost of immunity from it. But yeah, sometimes it sucks, and I hit that at the 5-month mark, especially being sick. I just wanted to be able to zonk myself out and not have to have all the not great feelings of being sick. So another thing that happened, we ended up selling the Mamaroo at 5 months. I wanted to do it before we moved so we didn't have to pack it up, and I ended up selling it for $125, which is not even close to what I paid for it, but it got us through those first months of life. Again, like with Olivia, we used it pretty much those first few months and then got rid of it. So it is completely gone now. We also got rid of the other swing. I gave it away to a lady in the neighborhood who had just had a newborn. So she got use out of it, and she said her little boy loves it, which is great. I love being able to pass things along like that. So we're completely out of swings. She does still have that little bouncer, and she's getting too heavy for it now. It kind of like sags down now, but she's still like sitting in there sometimes. So I want to talk about a couple of horrible nights we had, and it seems like there are certain nights that happen every once in a while where she just will not go back to sleep. So I have the times right now. I said horrible night from 3:45 to 6. Checked on her 2 times. If she's not asleep, I can't sleep. And she didn't even cry. She was just playing and making sounds. I kept worrying she would poop or flip over. So I kept checking on her, and we were awake for basically 2 hours, a little bit over 2 hours. And then the horrible night, she woke up at 5-ish and didn't want to go back to sleep. So again, like went between the playing and screaming and that kind of thing to crying, and I'd have to go check on her, calm her down, and she just did not want to go back to sleep after 5, which is not enough sleep for her. So I've got another note. I said so much crying, and it's really not that much crying. So basically, like, Olivia hardly ever cried as a baby. Like if she got hurt or something, she would cry, but she just didn't cry a whole lot. She cried a couple minutes right before sleep. Like you could set a timer, it's about 3 minutes, and then she would fall asleep on her own. And Stella's just not that way. Stella will cry about things. She cries when she's mad. She cries when she's upset. She's pretty easy to like calm down. She cries if like she's sat on the floor too long and she wants me. She'll just start bawling. So I pick her up. Perfectly fine. So she still doesn't cry a whole lot. She doesn't cry for extended periods of time, but she cries for way more things than Olivia ever did. So it feels like so much crying going from a kid who basically never cried really to a kid who does cry quite a bit and is still way below average of the crying. I heard something like babies cry for an average of like 2 or 3 hours a day, and she was never like that. It's like a minute here, a minute there, but when it's your baby crying, it does something to your brain. It totally frazzles me. I can't think straight if I hear her crying, and it's like I will do anything to make my baby stop crying. I will nurse her, I'll cuddle her, I'll bounce her, all the things to try to get her to stop and get her to be happy again, because the noise just drives you crazy. Some baskets for your sorting? They're not in here. I don't have baskets.
I have baskets.
In the closet? Okay, go see. If he's busy though, you can't interrupt him, okay? All right. I just realized one bad thing around this setup is if my kid's not wearing clothes, which is a lot of the time, she hates wearing clothes, you're gonna see a kid right here. So I'm gonna block it out, obviously. So if you see it blocked out, you know what happened is my kid came up. I did not even realize she was there, so I don't know how long I was talking with the kid being right there. It's one bad thing about these glass doors. And I don't even know where I was. Like I turned around, saw her naked body there, and I was like, whoa. She basically lives in undies. She hates wearing clothes. It's so annoying. She just like all day long, can I take my clothes off yet? Can I take my clothes off yet? It's just so annoying. When she's home all day, she just wants to not wear clothes. Now, one of the things, she will cry at diaper changes, and not so much now, only when she's like really tired, especially the time right before bedtime. If I set her down, get her changed, that's when she will tend to cry. But it seemed like there around the 5-month mark, every single time I set her down for a diaper change, she was crying. And the second I pick her up, she's totally fine. She just is one of those babies that wants to be in mommy's arms. And it's really hard and frustrating, like having to do stuff, because she was just at that stage. I think it had to do with separation anxiety. Like as I walked away, she would start crying, and it was really tricky there for a while when she was figuring out that mommy's coming back, you know, it's not a big deal, but she just wanted to be held and wanted to be with me like 24/7 there for a long time. So she'd have a horrible night here and there where she would just want to be up, and most of the time she wouldn't be inconsolable, but there would be patches in like this 2 or 3 hour stretch in the night where she would be inconsolable. She'd have one of those like every few weeks, and we never had a 4-month sleep regression with her, and now we're at the 6-month mark. So I was thinking, oh, it's going to be delayed because she was a couple weeks early, and it never was. She just never had it. I feel like what we had was a nap regression where her naps just went to crap there for a while, and the night sleep was still fine, but her naps would be super short, and it would take her like 30 minutes of me going back and forth and checking on her to get a 30-minute nap out, basically. Like it would take me just as long to put her down as she would actually sleep, and it took a few weeks to get out of that as well. And it did happen around the same time she was learning to roll, so it could have had something to do with that. She also got that virus, so it probably had something to do with that as well. So it all kind of hit at once, and it made her naps total crap for a while. Trying to get her to nap was really tricky during that time. Sometimes she just napped on me. I used to do that with Olivia when she needed it as well. She just kind of like napped in my arms or nursed and napped. Thank goodness we are past that, and naps are much easier for the most part. And occasionally I still have to go check on her once, but usually she'll whine maybe a minute and then go to sleep on her own most of the time. It still can be hit or miss here and there, but not like that. Like there was like 1 week of pure heck where she would not take a nap, where I could not get her to take a nap to save my life, which was really rough. I have since solved this problem, but there from like her 4-month, there for a long stretch, like over a month, she would pee leak every night in the middle of the night. And I thought that's what was waking her up, is she would pee leak and then get cold from the pee leak, and I would have to change her diaper, change her outfit, change her sheets at least once a night. And if she had a time where she'd wake up twice a night, I'd have to do the same thing twice. So it was super exhausting. And if I had filmed this earlier, I would have asked for advice because it was really frustrating. I was trying different diapers and I ended up finding a solution before her 6th month. So I'm going to tell you guys in this video, and I will mention it again in the 6-month video. We got these things called Sposies. They are diaper booster pads. They look like maxi pads. You stick them in the diaper and it makes the diaper double absorbency, and it works perfectly. And since we started using those, she has had 0 nighttime leaks. It's like basically doubling the diaper. She can wear the diaper the whole night long, no leaks at all, and it's been incredible. So I totally recommend these. They have 2 different versions. They have ones like a panty liner or a maxi pad. You rip the little paper backing off and it has adhesive, so it'll stick to the diaper. And then they also have ones that don't stick. They're just extra pads you stick in the diaper, and they are amazing. I ordered a second batch of them. We've been using them now for about a month. So I had 1 pack. I ended up buying a 3-pack this time, and I will continue to use these because it's been glorious. And she has slept through the night a couple of nights with these. This video is really random, and I'm referring to 6-month update because I'm going to film that back to back with this one. I might have to do it tomorrow, but yeah, I'm like a month behind filming this 5-month update. But that was like my main thing from the 5-month update, was being desperate to find some sort of diaper thing. I'm so glad I found these things called Sposies. I love them. I will stick with them, and they were just game changers. I don't have to change her diaper at night. I don't have to change the sheets, and she wakes up dry and comfortable, and her diaper just looks huge because it has like double the diaper in it. But yeah, that really wraps up the 5 months. I've been vlogging a ton, so you guys have seen that. So I just wanted to get this video ready for you guys. I know it's a month late, but I wanted to still have it in case people come along these videos later. They can see what Stella was up to at 5 months. I will also link to Olivia's 5-month update. I did monthly updates for her up to 12 months as well, and I'm trying to do that with Stella, even though we got off a little bit because of all the pandemic stuff, because I'm moving. My plan is to film the 6-month update for you guys next. I'll probably have that next week for you guys, and then I will be more on track and try to do these every month. I hope you liked the video. I hope you guys like the new setup. I will tweak it here and there. I'll link to a couple of playlists also. The Baby Stella updates that I've done thus far, and also all of Olivia's baby updates. I'll link to those. So I hope you like and subscribe, and I will catch you next time. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.